October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but on the 19th of every month, we remind you of the importance of your mammogram and of performing your self-breast exam. The bottom line is early detection is the key to surviving breast cancer. Tonight, we introduce you to a woman who knows firsthand why mammograms and self-exams are so important.
I got married, and I got married on January the 22nd. And on January the 31st, we found ourselves in the doctor's office because I had found a lump in my left breast.
In sickness and in health, those are the vows that Sharon Shiver Kennedy and her husband Thomas pledged. Little did they know, less than 10 days after they said "I do," she would be answering a call that would change both of their lives.
Literally, we were like crying in the streets, and I got myself together. I said, listen, I need to go to Belk's and I'm going to get a pedicure so you can go to work.
Her husband didn't go to work, but she did go to Belk and she did get a pedicure. Sharon says from the beginning, she knew she was going to win this battle.
I was just determined from that moment that I wanted to live and I wanted to fight, and I would fight.
At just 44 years old, she was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, the most aggressive form of the disease.
Had a mammogram in June. January was when I found the lump.
Her treatment began with a lumpectomy, and then
I did 6 rounds of chemo. Then I did like 36 rounds of radiation.
And even after that, she was on a maintenance drug for a year. Sharon admits that she didn't have many bad days, but when she did, she didn't have to look far for support.
My husband was number one. He was great. He was awesome. He took very good care of me.
As she celebrates 10 years of surviving breast cancer, her advice is solid for those also battling the same disease.
Have that positive energy around you. Whatever your faith is, believe in that faith, trust in God. And I listened to inspirational messages. I read books. I listened to songs. One of the songs that got me through this, Darci, was Marvin Sapp's song, "I Never Would Have Made It." And that song really, really got me through. It says that I'm wiser, I'm stronger, I'm better. And today I say that I am healed.
Every month on the 19th, we introduce you to a breast cancer survivor, a woman willing to share her story in order to encourage others. Today's survivor has been sharing her story for years as an author, and tonight she wants you to hear firsthand why she's so happy to still be alive. This is Janet Shepard Kelleher, and she's what most people might consider a miracle.
I never expected to live this long.
To understand her story, you have to go back even before she was diagnosed with breast cancer 20 years ago.
I grew up poor and didn't know I was poor. You know, we had love, we had fun. My dad was all about adventure.
The ability to enjoy and understand an unlikely journey as a child might be the reason why she was so well equipped to handle the twists and turns of a breast cancer diagnosis at 48 years old.
After I had cancer for the first time, I realized that the way I looked at losing my hair, the way I dealt with it, was a lot different than most people.
And everything was fine for nearly 15 years. And then she was diagnosed with breast cancer again. That was 6 years ago. And then a year after that, the constant pain that she had in her hip, it wasn't arthritis. It was cancer again. The disease in her breast had spread.
Rather than saying, why me? I said, why not me? And why me was because so many of my friends would have just been crushed with that diagnosis.
For 66 months, Janet has been living with metastatic breast cancer. But thanks to a new drug, not only are there no signs of the disease, doctors are actually seeing that the cancer is dying.
Not only has it stopped it, but according to the scans, it's actually killed the cancer that was there in the bone. I'm here and I'm stable, which is an amazing feat.
She finds joy in so many things in life, but very few things make her as happy as being around her family, her 3 grandboys, to be specific.
I announced I was metastatic, and I had no grandchildren, and each of my children gave me a grandson. So I have been truly blessed and lived to see and hold and love those little boys.
Every survivor story is different. Janet took the extra step of actually writing her journey for others to read. Janet has authored one book entitled Big C, Little Tata. She's working on a memoir, that title, But What If I Can? And you can also find her work in Chicken Soup for the Soul.
I feel like when you're given a challenge, even if it's life and death, you should stand up to it and say, I'm going to do what I can. Now you go ahead on about your business and do your thing, whatever the obstacle is, but I'm on this end going to do the best I can.
Janet wants each of you to remember that if her life story has a miracle chapter, so can yours.
I'm Janet Shepard Kelleher, and I am a survivor.
Don't forget to call your buddy to remind them today to perform their self-breast exam. Doctors stress that early detection is the key to saving your life when diagnosed with breast cancer. Every month on the 19th, we introduce you to a breast cancer survivor willing to share their story in hopes of making a difference in the life of another woman. Christy Clark is tonight's survivor. She doesn't wear a crown and a sash every day, but when she does, her message is about beauty that begins within.
You can feel beautiful, you can look beautiful, you can sound great, all those things after breast cancer.
Christy Clark wears a lot of titles: Mrs. Capital City, mom, and wife, but maybe none more important than breast cancer survivor.
1 in 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's just too many. When you go through something like this, you are given a phenomenal testimony, and use it.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2019.
Honestly, my first thought was, it's all right, I got this. One of my favorite things is that sometimes God will place a Goliath in your life for you to find the David within you.
And even with that positive attitude, she's still stunned by how much her life has changed in less than 2 years.
I had a tremendous amount of survivor's guilt. I didn't know why I didn't have it as bad as my sweet friend Ashley. I didn't know why I was still living and other friends weren't. I had tremendous survivor's guilt on where do I go from here? And this was the platform that I said, this is where I go from here.
It's been a long road, paved with stops for treatments and surgeries, but her hope is that all women understand and see her as an example, that they can be more than just a survivor after being diagnosed with breast cancer.
We can fight this and be warriors and come out beautiful on the other side. It shouldn't just be about being cancer-free. It should be about thriving after having cancer.